Well, whoever thought a Sharpie marker had this much power? The mainstream media is losing their minds because President Trump allegedly took a Sharpie and made a little loop over the path of Hurricane Dorian to the northwest, and it covered a sliver of Alabama. The mainstream media is apoplectic about this. They have lost their minds, even claiming that Donald Trump should be arrested and prosecuted for this. Trump derangement syndrome is at an all-time high here in Sharpiegate. These are just a few of the highlights. Take a look.
He broke a criminal law that was put in place in order to make sure that people don't falsify these forecasts for either public gain or for political gain.
It's against the law to knowingly issue or publish a false weather forecast. But rather than acknowledge any mistake, late Wednesday, the president insisted that Alabama was in an earlier forecast. Of course, when he made the comments on Sunday, Alabama was not in any danger.
There's also U.S. statute on false weather reports.
Yeah.
Is that worth noting, given the fact that I think the president might have given out a false weather report, right? So apparently it's against the law.
Now, the government's National Hurricane Center, which issues that map, never said Alabama was threatened. Oddly enough, knowingly misrepresenting a government weather forecast is a crime, and it's punishable by up to 90 days in prison. As for now, the president keeps insisting he was right all along.
They had been updated at least 15 times. It's against the law to knowingly issue or publish a false weather forecast, though right now both FEMA and NOAA are referring all questions back to the White House.
That map was from the day hurricane became a hurricane, 8 days ago, August the 28th. It was 4 days old. At the precise time, he said Alabama would likely be hit harder than anticipated. And by then, it was fake news defined on a very serious subject.
The president then insisted that he's never heard of a Category 5 hurricane, and the experts have never seen anything like it. It's brand new. This is actually the fourth Category 5 hurricane to threaten the United States just since he's been president. How is it that he thinks he's never heard of a Category 5 hurricane? You know, and the general, I think, well-earned and appropriate response to this kind of inane, muddled absurdity from the White House and from the president in particular has basically been to tune it out, right?
Wow. Wow. When I said the mainstream media lefties lost their mind, I wasn't kidding, right? I mean, you saw it right there. Their words on video. First it was Russia, Russia, Russia. Then it was Trump's a racist, racist, racist. Oops. Black unemployment is at its lowest point in history, and he signed criminal justice reform, allowing for thousands of black Americans to leave jails and prisons. Well, the racism narrative didn't work. Then they tried to get him on some old nonsense about business dealings and bank loans, a story in the Washington Post about Russian oligarchs co-signing bank loans. They had to apologize and retract that. Now what they've got is let's prosecute the President of the United States for issuing a false weather report because he might or might not have taken a Sharpie and made a little loop. Said, storm is projected to go here, might also go here. I mean, what's the President of the United States supposed to do? Not give everybody all the options? Now, the President tweeted out the original maps when Dorian was originally designated a hurricane. He's been on top of this. FEMA was on top of this. I told you last week that down in South Florida, relief crews, electrical crews coming to do repairs, were coming in from as far away as Canada about a week before the storm, days before the storm. The mainstream media is upset because Trump's done an outstanding job on this storm. Power companies were deployed in advance. Very few people are going to be without power for a long time. Emergency resources are in place. Now, the president's actually having some fun with this because as the media losing their minds over this little Sharpie circle, he tweeted that he's waiting for the mainstream media to apologize for saying he broke the law. He tweeted that the track back in the early days did in fact say Hurricane Dorian was going to hit Alabama. But it wasn't just the president and the National Weather Service who said the storm could hit Alabama. The Alabama National Guard, American heroes, troops that have been deployed overseas that rush to the coast in the event of a hurricane, they tweeted this. Hurricane Dorian is projected to reach southern Alabama by the early part of the week. We are watching closely and ready to act. Are you? The Alabama National Guard mobilized and began deploying resources in case the storm hit Alabama. Now, there's one thing we do know about hurricanes, right? That we don't know anything about hurricanes. We don't know where they're going to hit. So you take all possible precautions. It would have been irresponsible for the President of the United States to disregard one of the possibilities by the National Weather Service, to disregard the Alabama National Guard and not say to Alabamans, hey, it looks like it's going this way, but don't take your eye off the ball. Be prepared. It might go that way. That's all that happened here. All right? Forget all the mainstream media hysteria. But it gets better. Oh, sweet irony, it gets better. Last week, guess which media outlet told Alabama to be on the lookout for Hurricane Dorian? Yep, it was CNN.
There are many states that are under threat right now, Derek.
At least 6, from the Carolinas right through Georgia coastline into Florida, certainly, and then also even into the Gulf of Mexico, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi. You need to be on the lookout.
Wait a second, Don Lemon. Alabama. Now, didn't we play that package at the beginning of this segment where Don Lemon said the president might have been violating federal law? Well, was CNN also violating federal law for reporting Georgia, Alabama, the Gulf Coast? Storm came nowhere near there. Nowhere near there. This is the hypocrisy and the hysteria of the mainstream media, but worse, they have no respect for you. No respect for your ability to analyze what they report. No respect for your ability to research what they tell you. They thought they were going to mock the President of the United States. They were going to insult him, call him mentally challenged, say he broke federal law, and no one was going to call them on it. Now, I can do this report here because we're on television and we have some reach, but I'm so proud of our viewers. I'm so proud of conservatives because they went out there immediately and began debunking the far left mainstream media on social media, in their Facebook posts, in their tweets. You got them pretty good with a lot of evidence. You pushed back hard, but the mainstream media is not giving up. They're doubling down on this. Why? They've got nothing else. They have nothing on which to attack this president. Russia collusion failed. Racism failed. Anti-Semitism failed. War on women failed. Russian oligarchs signing his bank loans failed. All fake news. Now all they've got is a tiny little Sharpie mark and the allegation that he broke federal law by reporting something they themselves also did. If that's not hypocrisy, I don't know what is.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing news channel, now in 65 million homes. Get Newsmax TV on all the major cable systems or go to newsmaxtv.com and click on the Find Newsmax tab to locate us. Remember, Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.